In the ancient texts, there exists an angel deemed far worse than Satan himself, an entity responsible for the creation of demons. The Book of Enoch recounts the tale of the Watchers, a group of angels who fell from grace, becoming the first to transgress against the divine order. At the forefront of these angels stood Samyaza, whose actions wrought devastation upon humanity. As the leader of 200 Watchers, Samyaza orchestrated a rebellion that nearly annihilated mankind, a calamity only averted by divine intervention. Samyaza's fall began with an insatiable desire for mortal women, a sin he hesitated to commit alone. He confided in the Watchers, saying, "I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin." The 200 Watchers, however, vowed together, binding themselves by a mutual oath to pursue this forbidden act. On Mount Hermon, their pact was sealed, unleashing a cascade of horrors upon the world. From the union of Watchers and humans emerged the Nephilim, monstrous hybrids whose malevolence knew no bounds. As recorded in the Book of Enoch, they became pregnant, and they bore great giants whose height was 300 ells. They consumed all the acquisitions of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. They began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. These giants, arising in the time of Jared, Enoch's righteous ancestor, heralded an era of unprecedented destruction. Imagine the terror that must have gripped the hearts of humanity as these colossal beings roamed the earth, devouring everything in their path. The Nephilim, with their immense size and insatiable appetites, consumed all the resources of mankind. When men could no longer provide for them, they turned against humanity itself, bringing about a period of great suffering and despair. Their sins did not stop at mere consumption. They extended to abominable acts against all living creatures, disrupting the natural order and causing chaos in every corner of the world. This dark chapter is also referenced in the Bible, specifically in Genesis, where it is said that the sons of God lusted after the daughters of men, resulting in the birth of these hybrid beings. The term sons of God refers to the Watchers, illustrating the catastrophic consequences of their actions. The Bible provides a glimpse into the gravity of this situation, a moment in time when the divine and mortal realms intersected with disastrous results. Additionally, the apocryphal Book of Giants, discovered at Qumran, delves into the tale of Samyaza's offspring. Among these were two half-giant sons, Ohia and Hia, whose deeds further expanded the narrative found in Genesis. This text, along with others like 1 Enoch, Jubilees, and various Baruch and Daniel visions, provides a detailed account of these pre-flood giants and their Watcher fathers. The Book of Giants paints a vivid picture of these enormous beings, their lives, and their ultimate fate. It tells us how these hybrid creatures, born of an unholy union, became a scourge upon the earth, their very existence a blight upon the world created by God. But God, in His infinite mercy, did not abandon humanity to this fate. He commanded Enoch to call the giants and Watchers to repentance, offering them a chance to escape His wrath. This act of divine compassion underscores God's forgiving nature. Samyaza's sons, Ohia and Hia, were given dreams, which they shared with their kin. Puzzled by these visions, the Watchers and giants sent a giant named Mawai to seek Enoch's counsel. Enoch, faithful to his mission, delivered not only the oracle they sought, but also twin tablets that unveiled the full meaning of their dreams and foretold God's impending judgment. Despite this revelation, many among the Watchers and giants, consumed by pride and defiance, chose to persist in their rebellion against the divine will. Let's now look at how the leader of the Watchers nearly wiped us out, and how this terrible angel and those in agreement with him were punished by God. After Samyaza and the other Watchers created these creatures, the Watchers also began to teach humans forbidden secrets and knowledge that destroyed humanity. Ultimately, the Watchers' teachings made humans separate from God. These angels taught us things like magic, forbidden arts, and sciences, all of which humanity used to destroy one another, particularly Azazel. This angel is usually highlighted as the angel who taught the most destructive teachings to humanity. Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. Azazel is a chief watcher directly behind Samyaza. If you would like a second, more detailed video on Azazel, comment part 2. For this video's focus is about Samyaza, the leader of these angels. Samyaza taught humans enchantments and root cuttings. So essentially, Samyaza taught humans about magic. The form of magic he taught humans was most likely dark magic, due to the fact everything these angels taught humans caused us to walk away from God and destroy one another. During this time, everything on the earth was hectic. Between the angels' hybrid offsprings, the fallen angels, and the fallen angels' teachings, which affected humanity for the worse, the world became much more dark. Things such as witchcraft became popularized during this time, and also after that. We can see this kind of magic prominent in places such as ancient Egypt. Priests were the main practitioners of magic in pharaonic Egypt, where they were seen as guardians of a secret knowledge given by the gods to humanity to ward off the blows of fate. We can clearly see these so-called gods or just fallen angels being worshipped as the false gods that we were warned about in Exodus 20 verses 3-5. In ancient Egypt, the most respected users of magic were the lector priests, who could read the ancient books of magic kept in temple and palace libraries. In popular stories, such men were credited with the power to bring wax animals to life or roll back the waters of a lake. But this magic was also used for evil purposes. Though magic was mainly used to protect or heal in ancient Egypt, the Egyptian state also practiced destructive magic. The names of foreign enemies and Egyptian traitors were inscribed on clay pots, tablets, or figurines of bound prisoners. These objects were then burned, broken, or buried in cemeteries in the belief that this would weaken or destroy the enemy. So this segment just shows us how much this ancient culture was also impacted by the Watcher's teachings, particularly the teachings of Samyaza regarding his enchantments. Samyaza is directly responsible for what we now call the occult world, where magic is practiced amongst people who studied the esoteric significance of our world. These very same teachings are believed to be practiced by those in power still till this day to maintain a high position in society, and also to brainwash and deceive the masses so they can maintain their power. A common theme is seen when we begin to look throughout the history of powerful empires. Nearly all of the most renowned leaders of the time practiced or believed in some sort of mysticism for advantages to maintain or gain power. Look at the Egyptian pharaohs, for example. Even in departure, magic was used in their ceremony to cross over into the afterlife. All Egyptians expected to need Heka, which is the Egyptian word for magic, to preserve their bodies and souls in the afterlife. And curses threatening to send dangerous animals to hunt down tomb robbers were sometimes inscribed on tomb walls. The mummified body itself was protected by amulets hidden beneath its wrappings. Collections of funerary spells, such as the coffin text in the Book of the Dead, were included in elite burials to provide esoteric magical knowledge. These spells that were taught to humans were not just some fantasy either. At least 13 people who opened the infamous King Tut's tomb mysteriously passed away shortly after. And all of the cultures which practiced magic also have stories similar to that of the Watchers descending down to Earth and manipulating humanity genetically. This story is prominent in ancient Mesopotamia, where deities known as the Anunnaki came down and then manipulated human DNA. However, for this segment we will particularly focus on the Bible and what it says about this heavenly secret known as magic, which was taught to humanity by the leader of the sons of God, Samyaza. Magic is an ancient practice rooted in rituals, spiritual divinations, and/or cultural lineage, with an intention to invoke, manipulate, or otherwise manifest supernatural forces, beings or entities in the natural world. But when we ask ourselves how the mere natural, us humans, came into knowledge of this supernatural understanding, it all begins to come together and make one big picture. As we look in the Bible, we see different forms of this practice being used for more positive purposes, such as contacting God before Samyaza demonized this practice. Genesis 12:6-8 says, "At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, 'To your offspring I will give this land.' So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him." Now, if we look back at the definition of what magic means, we see it means to also manifest supernatural beings into the world. And clearly this was done in Genesis 12 when Abram summoned God by creating an altar. As we can see, the natural and supernatural were always connected as God intended it to be. God gave humans a vessel to contain a soul in order to live a life in which we spiritually grow closer to Him to reach a higher level of existence in the next life. Unfortunately for humans, however, Samyaza and the other sons of God drastically prevented humans from reaching the supernatural paradise, all due to their greed and fornication. Teaching such as magic separated us from God because it made humans rely on magic instead of God. The things the Watchers taught humans were not initially bad, however they taught humans how to use them for bad purposes, which led to our demise. But also it led to the fallen angels and Nephilim's demise in the end. God made these hybrid creatures, and the Watchers wage a civil war upon each other in retaliation for these abominations, corrupting the earth. This was a destructive battle that resulted in many of the Nephilim giants being slain. This was the purpose why God made the civil war happen. Then the Lord ordered Archangel Michael to bind Samyaza and his associates for 70 generations, and after that time was up, they would be casted into hell forever. The final part of God's wrath was the Great Flood. The Great Flood was meant to destroy the remaining remnants of the corrupted genes on the earth. What people don't understand is Noah was spared from the flood because his genetics remained uncorrupted, whilst the rest of the world was affected in some way by the fallen angel's genetic manipulation. Now, let us return to the pivotal role of Samyaza in the creation of demons. As I mentioned earlier, Samyaza was indeed the one responsible for this dark chapter in celestial history. After Samyaza and his fellow fallen angels, the Watchers, intermingled with humanity, they brought forth the Nephilim giants. These beings were so malevolent and destructive that God, in His infinite wisdom and justice, chose to eradicate them from the face of the earth. However, the destruction of their physical forms did not bring an end to their malevolent presence. The souls of these monstrous entities, filled with the same evil that marked their lives, persisted. It is from these dark souls that demons were born, spirits of immense wickedness that continued to plague humanity. As we conclude this video, I urge you to remember a crucial point: praise the Most High and the Most High only. The intent behind sharing these stories and insights is not to elevate angels or any other beings to a place of worship. The focus must always remain on the Creator, the source of all light and truth. Angels, even those who serve faithfully, are not objects of worship but messengers and servants of the Almighty. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and reflection. It has been an honor to delve into these ancient and profound stories with you. If you found this exploration meaningful, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new content is uploaded, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to learn and reflect further. Share this message with others who might find value in these discussions, spreading knowledge and enlightenment far and wide. Let's continue to explore the depths of these timeless stories together. Your thoughts and questions are incredibly valuable, so please comment below and share your reflections. Engage in the conversation, for through dialogue we can uncover even more profound truths and apply them to our lives in meaningful ways. Together we can build a community of seekers, united in our quest for understanding and wisdom. May the Most High bless you and guide you on your path. Thank you once again for being part of this journey. God bless you all. And until next time, stay curious and keep seeking the divine truth.